Hi. So, first of all, happy Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day. Ah, happy late International Women's Day because it's like late now. It's 13th March. The International Women's Day was on 8th March. So, to all the women, happy International Women's Day. And for this one, I'm taking some inspiration from a friend of mine, Glitter. You might have seen her on this subreddit. Um, so she did this something similar for Black History Month. So I'm doing this for Women's Day, and I have six different like websites open, um, which have certain things. So this is not so basically I have chosen some specific websites. Uh, you'll see what they are as I go through them. But just as an example, one of them is two of them are actually about authors. So women authors. Okay, before that, I just want to get some other stuff cleared out of the way. If you feel comfortable, feel free to share about the battles you have picked. You know the phrase like pick your battles. I actually needed to look this up. Where does the phrase pick your battle come from? Pick your battles origin. My so I'm using slide, on phone. I don't know if this is on like how many people use this, but you can like slide your fingers across the keyboard on a phone to type. That's not working very well. Pick your battles origin. I wonder if this is just an old quote or from some movie or something. It's a military strategy, it says. Likely originated from military strategy where selection of battlegrounds have always been a key factor in determining the outcome of wars. Okay, yeah. So, what battles have you decided to pick throughout your life? Again, um, no pressure to share. But yeah, I wanted to also say YouTube search has been so whack lately. Like I literally, so I have this series that I watch about this guy, Dark Viper AU, One Hit Kill GTA. I literally search, like I'll search right now. Okay, I'm searching this and it's working. But yesterday I was searching. So he has a series. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I searched for like Dark Viper AU Oko 26, and it gave me this. So it gave me the playlist itself. Then it gave me Oko 25 and Oko 27, not 26. I don't know why this is happening, and this is on the website. So I'm not like using an app for that search. I'm searching that on website, and it's just showing me these like wild results. So I don't know why that's happening. Okay, now I think we can start. So let's start with a small one. So again, also I just want to say one of these I found. So this is I'll link all of these in the description of the video in the description of the video if you're watching on YouTube, and on comments and the soundgasm description if you're watching on Reddit. Or listening on Reddit. So I found this article. I don't mean to hate on men at all, but this one is I was searching inventions by women, and this one came up. So this is BBC 100 women. Oh wait, didn't I get a different one for this? Wait 1 second. I actually sorted this out, but seems like I didn't do it very well. Okay, I guess we'll go through both of these. So BBC 100 women, 9 things you didn't know were invented by women. So the idea is that sorry, things that were invented by women but men took credit for. Okay, so asked to name. So I'll just read the article. I guess I shouldn't read the whole. This is the thing, right? I mentioned this previously also. This is why I have like couple of so I'll just go through the names and just like a small pieces of the article. So the first one is Computer Software by Grace Hopper. After joining the US Navy during the Second World War, Rear Admiral Grace Hopper was assigned to work on a new computer called the Mark I. It wasn't long before she was at the forefront of computer programming in the 1950s. She was behind the compiler, which could translate instructions into code that the computers can read, making programming quicker and ultimately revolutionizing how computers worked. Hopper also helped Hopper also helped popularize the term debugging. I think there's a grammatical mistake here. Popularized the term debugging that we still use on computer programs today after a moth was removed from inside a machine. That's so funny. I didn't know that that's where debugging comes from. Amazing Grace, as she was known, continued working with computers until she retired from the Navy as its oldest serving officer, aged 79. That's so cool. Okay, I'll also see who this article is written by. It's not like it's not like I'll judge based on that or anything, but I'm just curious. Okay, so I can't find the name, but it looks like there's some images made by Hannah Eachus. It sounds like, I don't know. The spelling is EACHUS. Okay, the second is caller ID and call waiting. Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson. Okay, that's cool. Dr. Shirley Ann Jackson is an American theoretical physicist whose research from the 1970s is responsible for caller ID and call waiting. Her breakthrough in telecommunications have also enabled others to invent the portable fax, fiber, optical cables, and solar cells. She is the first African American woman to gain a PhD from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and the first African American woman to lead a top ranked research university. I also want to mention, I just realized this is not the article I was talking about, where did I already say this? So one of the articles is about where men took credit for women's efforts. I don't think this is the article. This is a different one. But yeah, the third is windscreen wiper. Mary Anderson. On a winter's day of 1903, Mary Anderson was visiting New York when she noticed that her driver was forced to open his window just to clear the snow from his windscreen. Every time the window was opened, the passenger in the car got colder. Anderson started drawing a solution of a rubber blade that could be moved from the inside the car, and in 1903 was awarded a patent for a device. But the invention proved unsuccessful with car companies who believed it would distract the drivers. Okay, that's funny. Anderson never profited from her invention, even when the wipers later became a standard on cars. That's so sad. This happens so much, like women especially, but even with men. You make an invention and it just doesn't profit you for such a long amount of time. Obviously, I am very about medicine specifically. Even in medicine, there is what's the name again? I believe it's insulin, which was patented and for $1 or something. But then some big companies took over it, and it's now a very expensive medicine to get hold of, which is very sad because in India, for example, it's very cheaply available for everyone. Okay. Fourth is space station batteries. Olga D. Gonzalez Sanabria. It might not have the catchiest name on this list, but the long cycle life nickel hydrogen battery has helped power the International Space Station, so it's pretty important. Olga D. Gonzalez Sanabria, who is originally from Puerto Rico, developed technology which helped create these batteries in the 1980s and is now Director of Engineering at NASA's Glenn Research Center. That's so cool. Okay. Dishwasher. Okay, I'm sorry for laughing. Josephine Kochran. I'm hoping that's how you pronounce the name. It's a Cochrane. A frequent entertainer. Josephine wanted a machine that would wash her dishes faster than her servants and be less likely to break them. That's so funny. Her machine, which involved a motor turning a wheel inside a copper boiler, was the first automatic dishwasher to use water pressure. Her alcoholic husband had left her with masses of debt after his death, and this motivated her to patent the invention in 1886 and open her own production factory. That's so cool. By the way, I don't think, at least I have never seen a dishwasher ever in my life. So every time I see them in a TV or something, it just puzzles me how it works, because it looks like it would break everything inside. But home security system, Mary Van Britten Brown. a nurse who was often home alone. Mary Van Britten Brown came up with an idea that would make her feel safer. Together with her husband, Albert, Van Britten Brown developed the first home security system in response to the rising crime rates and slow police responses of the 1960s. The device was complicated, with a camera powered by a motor which moved up and down the door to look through a peephole. A monitor in a bedroom also came equipped with an alarm button. That's so cool. Stem cell isolation. That's so cool because again, STEM. I'm not this STEM, but like the science medical field, STEM is seen to be like where women find it very tough to perform, right? Like it's always considered to be an achievement for women to perform. I was looking at this article, Wikipedia article, where they talk about like the breaking the gender barrier, and I remember there's this funny. I mean, it's funny, but it's also quite nice. Let me look it up. Sonic gender barrier. I know it sounds weird. Wait, Sonic gender equality meme. Okay, so I'll mute the thing, and I'll just open the captions hopefully. So, who's the girl? Who is Sonic's like pink girl? So Amy. So Amy says like she does a goal or something, like she scores a goal, and she says, can a young woman break the glass ceiling and prove once and for all that a female can just be as good as an athlete as a male? And then Knuckles out of nowhere just says this, Amy, anytime someone calls attention to the breaking of gender roles, it ultimately undermines the concept of gender equality by implying that this is an exception and not the status quo. This is such a cool thing to say, first of all. Knuckles is saying this, which is weird to say the least, and it's such a good point as well. He says because everyone is staring at him, he says, what, just because I am a meathead doesn't mean I'm not a feminist, which is cool. I think this is a meme, by the way. I'm not sure if this actually like it's a actual thing, like from a show or something. But my point being that it's such a important thing to like remember that it's not like, at least I believe in gender equality. I believe in, so there's this thing, right, where people will talk about gender equality in a way that it kind of like feels weird, where they'll say that, oh, of course, like women should have equal rights as men, but they also can't do certain things that men can, physically speaking. And like on an average, right, they have certain differences from men which make them inefficient or whatever to do. I don't think that's a discussion that should be brought up during gender equality, or especially that's not a discussion that we should base gender equality around. I think we should start with the assumption that women are just as good as men, and if then some common problems arise, then we can work around that, because starting with that assumption, first of all, already like puts I don't know, it starts to like deviate from the point that the point of gender equality, it's not just to feel cool, or like, because most of the time people who say this, I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of people who say this don't say this for because they're advocating for women. Like the idea is that because women are not as capable as men in certain areas, right, physical or whatever, they argue that they should have different like ways of treating women, right, be it better or worse. And one of the most common ones that I have heard from friends, unfortunately, is that women are more emotional, or women are more sentimental and less logical than men. And firstly, not true, because I know women who are very methodical, very smart and very they can handle. I think first of all, why are we treating being sentimental or being emotional as a thing uh, for women, when like why are we using that as a basis of separation? Like, if anything, if men are not emotional or not being sentimental at the right times, I think that's something that should be brought attention to. And like, this is not completely normal. Being completely emotionless and just calm, collected at every point in your life is not the best way to deal with things, right? It's not the most human way to deal with things. I would say that, if there is something that I would want from a friend, it is being emotional and it is being sentimental, not being smart. That's not why we make friends, right? That's not why we make acquaintances, or that's not why we seek for people to hang out with, right? We seek for people to hang out with. So in the best of times we can have fun, we can make jokes, and at the worst of times we can share each other's pain. And I think women are, and this is the point, right, that they try to make, that women are much less uh, logical thinking than men. I just think that's not true. I think it's more like, and I don't know how much of this is true, but I think it's more like women show their emotional side more often than men show theirs, and men show their logical side more often than women do. I see women working. I have a sister. I have parents. I mean, I have one parent who is a female, and I see other friends of mine who are very logical, who can, who, I mean, obviously, like, to live in this world, you have to be logical, right? You can't just be logicless. But it seems to me very often men will showcase their logical, or try to, not all men, obviously. Like, when I'm saying this, I'm particularly talking about the men who have put these arguments forward about women not being as logical. It seems that they showcase their ability to make logical decisions more often than women, which to me is like, the loud minority thing, where you just say something out loud and make it happen. There's this joke that I saw like a couple of days ago in like a skit or something, where I didn't know this was a thing that women face. So what happens in the skit is, they're talking about like some problems you face in life, right? This is by the way, all a comedy skit. So it's an improv skit by a few people. Sorry. So there's one girl and there are four guys, or three guys, I think. And the girl, she says, "Have you ever experienced when?" So basically, there's this guy who is pretending to be, so basically the guy is like, I don't know whether I'm a guy or not, so he's not revealing his gender, right? And they're like trying to figure out his gender. So the girl asks him, "Have you ever told a joke and someone else repeats it louder and gets more laughs?" And then a guy comes from behind her and says, wait, let me, I have got an idea. And he says, have you ever had someone else tell a joke and laugh at it louder? And everyone started laughing. And because basically what I'm trying to say is that in the comments I saw a lot of women like saying that this happened to them. I think this happens to guys also, but maybe it happens to women more. I don't know. What I was trying to say is that I think this happens a lot, where people misinterpret what other people do, right? Or what other people, because they don't showcase it as much, right? I think I have a fairly good amount of like emotional and logical intelligence, and I value emotional intelligence much more, just because I found no value in logical intelligence at all. Especially people who value logical intelligence. I mean, I'm not saying that if you do, I don't like you or anything, but I've seen that people who value logical intelligence more than emotional intelligence, or especially people who devalue emotional intelligence, have just not been good friends to me, have just not been good people to me. Like, I just never have found like anything in common, anything to talk about. And yeah, I think, I mean, it's not like we don't have people who are logical already, right? Like, by nature this will always be balanced, but I think we need to like not have this discussion first whenever we are talking about women's equality, or sorry, gender equality, um about like the differences between men and women, the inherent differences, because I do agree that there are inherent differences, but I don't think they need to be brought up every time we talk about gender equality. Gender equality is never about that. It's not about like the differences between men and women. It is about equality. And when we talk about like the differences, it just undermines, it makes it feel like women are already being treated equally and they just need to be treated differently. I don't think that at all. I think especially because what I have not been saying on this whole time is women just don't get treated equally. Like, I have privileges that I recognize so clear. Like, I can walk at night without being like too scared. I can go alone somewhere without being that afraid, right? There are entire cities in India where people make jokes about like women's safety because it's so dangerous for them. It's surprising to me how we, just because I live in a college where we are privileged enough to have somewhat of a semblance of women equality, that we just start talking about like how sometimes we treat women too equally, or sometimes we give women too many privileges compared to men. Like, how does that make sense? We, like, as an overall in our country, not even in our country, in our homes, like in literally in our homes, we don't treat women equally. We don't make an effort to do that, right? I am thankful, by the way, that in my home particularly we have a very strong uh, women's treated equal kind of rule. My home is not perfect by any means. We have tons of other problems, but as far as like when it comes to like women's equality, I think we are quite like good in that term. But it's not even like a more than a generation old. Like this tradition, I would say, is from my parents' generation only, so like one generation ago, and obviously my generation as well. So it's so difficult for me to see, that's the thing, right? It's hard to argue with these arguments because they are true. Like, women do have inherent differences. I'm not saying that they're worse or better, but they have differences, right? Obviously they're built differently, they have different hormones in their bodies. But what does that have to do with us treating women equally? Or uh, like, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make most of the behaviors that we do right. Like, we should still be trying to do our best to treat women equally. And obviously, like, it's not to say that men should not be treated equally. If you're a guy and you have been mistreated by women, I'm sorry for you. But as I said this before, I have picked my battles to be that. If you are a guy, by the way, I would highly suggest watching the channel, yeah, the Instagram page, Dadvocate. Just look up Dadvocate on Instagram. It's a married woman who speaks for men's rights. There is another, like, I think, filmmaker who made a film about men's rights and like domestic violence. I'm sorry, there's so much noise. I just realized. But there's this director, a female director, who made a movie about domestic violence against men, and there's this video on YouTube where she goes to promote the movie in Australia, and she gets a lot of hate. And I think in Australia, violence against women is a very common thing. So domestic violence against women is a very common thing. So she got a lot of hate for that. And go look up that video. I don't know how you'll find it. I think try finding what's that meme? There's this meme. Wait, let me remember. There's this meme with there's this meme about directed by Robert. Wait, let me see. Directed by Robert B. Weed meme. So I'm trying to remember what the meme is called. Um, trying to remember what the meme is called. Just 1 second. Directed. How would we read meme name? I searched name and I typed name and it came out as it came out as babe. Okay. What's the name? How the hell am I not able to find the name? Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's right, Curb Your Enthusiasm. So search Curb Your Enthusiasm, go on a rabbit hole and you'll find it like eventually. Oh, okay. I got a comment. Anyways, so go and I mean, you don't need to obviously, but like it's a fantastic meme format. There are like lots of memes with it. Go and watch it if you have the time, if you want to watch some like old memes, and in that you'll find that, because she talks about that. The name of that meme I think is Curb Your Domestic Violence. I'm like 100% sure that's the name, Curb Your Domestic Violence. So she talks about men's rights and domestic violence. So it's not like I'm against men's rights, not at all, but I have picked my side. Like I have picked what I want to fight for, and that is women's right and women's equality, and everything to do with women, because that's where I feel connected to. But obviously it's not like I'm against men in any way. But yeah, going back to what I was talking about, I think this constant, like, especially this happens a lot with like people who I feel like just don't want to spend the time understanding or empathizing with what women face, which is not the worst thing, considering that at least the people that I have been with, they don't like do anything bad towards women. But it's always sad to see that these type of arguments get brought up in a conversation about women's equality, when it is much more severe than they make it to be. Like we are talking about it as if it's about I don't know if you had this rule, but like we had this rule in our schools where only one guy at a time can go to the bathroom. But school, by the way, one guy can go to the bathroom at a time, but two girls can go to the bathroom at once. And it's like, okay, it feels like we're talking about this rule, like this rule shouldn't exist. Two guys should be able to go to the bathroom, or one girl, right? But it's not about this rule. Like, yeah, this rule is not like, doesn't make the most amount of sense, but this is not about this rule. We are arguing about something that's so much smaller than what we should be talking about, right? People don't treat women around them equally, and it's in subtle ways. But obviously, and it's not like I expect everyone to realize this, but it's in subtle ways that hurts to watch. And I wish that people would not use these things as crutches. Okay, I just realized I went on like a 10-minute rant. Okay, I'll just talk about stem cell isolation again. So stem cell isolation, I'm just messing up all my pronunciations. Okay, stem cell isolation. And Suka is spelled Tsukamoto. Her patent was awarded in 1991, and since then, Tsukamoto's work has led to great advancements in understanding the blood system of cancer patients, which could lead to a cure for the disease. Tsukamoto is currently conducting further research into stem cell growth and is the co-patentee on more than 7 other inventions. Kevlar, oh that's cool. Stephanie Kolik. By the way, my favorite of like the woman's first thing is, did you know the first driver in history was a woman? The story is also, sorry if the voice changes a bit, I'm like changing my sitting position a little bit. But the first when the first car was built, I think Ford or something, I don't know, when the first car was built, the guy who invented the car, or like built the first prototype, was very afraid to like launch it, because people were comparing it to like witches and stuff, and he was like very very worried about oh my god, that voice crack. Okay, people were very very worried about what would happen if or like the backlash from the society. So she snuck out, I think secretly took out the car for a ride, and she became the first driver in the world. And she also invented, I think, like some brakes, and like she basically modified the car on the way. I'll look that up separately as well after this one is finished. But that's my favorite one of all, because especially because how many people say like women a bad driver. But yeah, anyway, so continuing with Kevlar is Stephanie Kolik. This chemist invented the lightweight fiber used in bulletproof vests and body armor. Since her discovery in 1965, the material, which is 5 times stronger than steel, has saved lives and is used by millions every day. It's found in products ranging from household gloves and mobile phones to airplanes and suspension bridges. And this is the last. Monopoly. Monopoly? Wait, what? Elizabeth Maggie, or Maggie, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. If we would pronounce it Maggie here. A man named Charles Darrow is often credited with creating the most popular board game in history, but the rules were in fact invented by Elizabeth Maggie. Maggie wanted to demonstrate the problems with capitalism with an innovative game in which players traded fake money and property. Her design, which she patented in 1904, was called the Landlord's Game. The game of Monopoly that we know today was published in 1935 by Parker Brothers, who discovered that Darrow was not the sole creator and had just $500 bought Maggie's patent and well monopolized the game. That's so cool. Obviously, I'm like a game enthusiast, I suppose. So this is extra good, extra like fun to read. Okay, so I'll search first driver. It's showing me something called a first driver, like people who don't have a driver license or something. First driver in history, I suppose. Bertha Benz, yeah, it's the Benz, not Ford, because they were named after the like same people. I'll open the Wikipedia page. I hope I can find Bertha Benz. I'll just search Bertha Benz. Okay. Bertha Benz was a German automotive pioneer. Bertha Benz, and then it says Bertha Ringer, I'm not sure why. She was the business partner and wife of automobile inventor Carl Benz. On 5th August 1888, she was the first person to drive an internal combustion engine automobile over a long distance, field testing the Benz patent motor wagon, inventing brake lining, and solving several practical issues during the journey of 105 kilometers. In doing so, she brought the patent motor wagon worldwide attention and got the company its first sales. It's giving me like goosebumps reading this. She looks very pretty as well. I mean, she looked very pretty. Bertha Ringer, as she became. I'm not sure why it's saying Ringer, and so she was born as Bertha Ringer. I guess she changed her name to Bertha Benz later on. But yeah, that's super cool. In 2008, the Bertha Benz Memorial Route was officially approved as a route of the industrial heritage of humankind because it follows Bertha Benz's path during the world's first long-distance journey by automobile in 1888. Now it's possible to follow the 194 kilometer of signs indicating her route from Mannheim via Heidelberg to, I'm not going to try and pronounce that, Black Forest, it says in bracket, and back. Nice, that's super cool. But yeah, so this was one of my favorite stories about women doing something that people are sometimes not aware of. One more funny one is that if you've ever seen that movie, like those Sigma male clips from that movie, American Psycho, right? Yeah. The movie is directed by I think Beth Harmon. I'm not sure, who is also a woman, obviously. But yeah, I think it's directed by two women actually. Okay, so 60 famous women in history who changed the world. Okay, so first let me talk about the women behind creative work. The woman behind the creative work men took all the credit for. So I was interested in it because I also saw a game designer somewhere here. So these are like very long articles, so I won't be reading the whole thing, but I will be reading a small stuff from this. Oh, so Elizabeth Maggie is the game designer that's talked here, which is the same as so it's basically Monopoly. Then there is Margaret Keeney, artist. In the 1960s, Walter Keeney became famous for his big eye paintings, which were characterized by the oversized eye of the artwork's subjects. While Keeney's formulaic creation were derided by some as kitsch, I'm not sure how is this supposed to pronounce or what it means. They were usually popular and even considered for the 1964 World's Fair. In 1970, that's an airplane. I'll keep in mind to remove the sound or like at least reduce it later. Okay. They were usually popular. Okay. In 1970, Walter Keeney's ex-wife, Margaret, explained on a radio broadcast that she was the real painter behind the Big Eye series. When the former couple were challenged to a paint-off in Union Square, Walter did not attend. In 1986, Margaret took Walter to court, where they were again challenged to create a Big Eyes painting. Walter refused to take part, blaming an injured soldier, while Margaret painted an identical image in under an hour and was awarded $4 million in damages. After I married Walter, I just signed my paintings. Keeney. He was able to take credit for my work, which I was not aware he was doing at first. That's so sad. Again, this is not to hate on men, but more to shed the light that has. And obviously, I don't think men haven't gone through similar things, but it's just in abroad. So this is obviously Women's Day, so I'll be looking at these. But yeah, I don't hate men. But yeah. Okay, so obviously we have talked about Lizzie Maggie or Elizabeth Maggie earlier, so I'll skip this one. Then the next is Kathryn Johnson, mathematician. In the 1950s, Kathryn Johnson worked alongside other women analyzing data and performing complex mathematical calculation for NASA, then NACA. Johnson had described her early role as a computer who wore a skirt, and when she was temporarily reassigned to Flight Research Team in 1953, she was the first woman and also the first person of color to join the all-male team. Her proficiency meant that the role was soon made permanent, and she broke down both racial and gender barriers by ensuring that she was included in meetings to which women had never been invited before. But much of Johnson's work went uncredited as women were not allowed to put their names on reports. Okay, that's sad. The first time she completed a report on behalf of a colleague, and the team was left with no choice. Johnson said, "I finished the report and my name went on it, and that was the first time a woman in our division had a name on something." Later, Johnson calculated the trajectories for the first American in space and Apollo 11. Plus many more key projections during the space race. That's so cool. Okay. The next is Margaret Knight, inventor. Arguably the most famous 19th century female inventor, Margaret Knight, Knight is spelled with a K, tinkered with creations from a young age, and her first significant invention came when she was a teenager employed at a textile mill. When a shuttle holding yarn flew off one of the looms in the factory and injured a colleague, Knight was inspired to work out a way to cover the shuttle and avoid another incident. More significantly, I'm skipping a little bit. More significantly, in the late 1860s, Knight began to work at the Columbia Paperback Company, where she invented a machine to create flat-bottomed paperbacks, a style that is still in use today. But her idea was stolen and patented by Charles Annan, who was in the factory when the machine was built. Knight challenged Annan with a lawsuit, and in 1871 she was awarded the patent. In fact, she filed a total of 27 patents, but she didn't receive due credit or compensation during her lifetime. In the local obituary after her death, Knight's inventions were once again eclipsed by man, as she was described as the woman Edison. Yeah, that's something that I think has decreased so much nowadays. I don't know if it happens still, but I think this, like, naming someone like a woman Edison or a woman Tesla or something like this has happening less and less, which is nice. Dennis Scott Brown, Dennis, or is it Denny? I'll just call her Scott Brown. In 2018, that's surprising. Scott Brown was awarded the Soane Medal for the global influence of her contribution to architecture. She was born in 1931, by the way. This individual recognition lies in stark contrast to the 1991 Pitzer Architecture Prize, which was awarded to Scott Brown's husband, Robert Venturi, for work on which they had collaborated equally. Scott Brown did not attend the presentation, and when the organization was challenged on its decision, it claimed that the award could be only given to a single person. What does this mean? Only for it to emerge that in 1988 two men had received the prize jointly, which is before, okay. But Scott Brown's name has still been left off the award, and as recently as 2013, a petition to retroactively award her prize was rejected. Okay, I'll just scroll past the other one. Hedy Lamarr, actress and inventor. The Austrian-American actress Hedy Lamarr was often described as the most beautiful woman in the world and remembered for her Hollywood film appearances. But she was also a keen inventor, and her discovery of frequency hopping is arguably her most significant achievement. I'm skipping a little bit. The hopping frequency that Lamarr came up with is the precursor of today's secure Wi-Fi, GPS, and Bluetooth connections. Lamarr received a patent alongside Enthel, but although it was later used by the military, she did not receive sufficient credit for her invention during her lifetime. And when Lamarr wanted to join the National Inventors Council, she was told that her time would be better spent as a pin-up selling war bonds. Whew. But as she commented towards the end of her life, the brains of people are more interesting than the looks, I think. That's nice. Not what happened to her, but the quote. I at least, like, in Pillow Talk audio, this is so much true, because most of the people have met and made friends with, I have not seen. And even the ones I do, it's not like I like their looks or anything. Their voices and the way they talk and the way they are is it's all you have to go with, right? And it's just beautiful. Like, everyone I have met here on Pillow Talk is just beautiful at heart. And obviously I'm talking about women because I never heard male audio here, which is again sorry. But all the women that I've met here, talk to or not, sometimes I just listen to the audios, don't comment or anything, just upvote it and move on. But I have saved them, and all of them are just beautiful, like beautiful at heart. When I say that, I really do mean it. Like, it feels like I'm talking to a person who is just so beautiful, and it would be so much fun to talk to them, spend time with them, go out. Okay, again, not, I hope no one finds this weird, but like, I would love to go on dates with these people, or hang out with them, play video games with them, talk to them, work with them, whatever. Like, compared to so many people that I know in real life, who I would not want to hang out with more than like 20 minutes. You guys, like some of you who are listening, I think are so beautiful, and I don't know how much I can express this, but I really am so grateful. Like, I was thinking the other day how lucky I am that I found this subreddit. I'll tell the story of how I found it. So, as I've said this before, I think briefly, I was going through a very sad fall off with a friend, and I couldn't sleep for like a couple of nights, and it was like I just wanted comfort. Like, I didn't care where it came from, I just wanted some comfort, some company at all. And I am not even. I think I just searched up like girlfriend experience or something on like YouTube because I knew that it existed from like secondhand experience or something. Like I heard someone else talk about it, so I looked it up and I found Bumblebee Audios. I think was my first one. Bumblebee Audios. I still listen to it sometimes. So Bumblebee Audios has these like audios where she talks about like not talks about, she doesn't do ramble, she does like scripted or like improv sleep aid audios, and it helped me sleep so well, and it helped me like cope with that time so much because I felt so much cared for what felt like the first time in ever. And then I just listened to like YouTube audios for a very long time, and even before this I knew about like for example Gone Wild audio, and I actually found out about Gone Wild audio after I found out about Soundgasm. So I knew about Soundgasm and like searching in Soundgasm. If you didn't know, by the way, there's a website called Flaru, Flaru. You can search on Soundgasm using that website. But I knew about Soundgasm way before Flaru, and and I was like looking at GWA like a couple of months ago or whatever, and I was like, I want to make this, but I was not ready. I'm still not ready, and I don't think I will be ready for an SRW audio, like creating them. Like not like full blown NSFW at least. So I was just looking into it, and I think I found out, like I heard about it's not heard about obviously, but like I found out about Pillow Talk audio. I think in when I was like looking for, I looked for like, I'm not going to say the exact thing, but I was looking for like some comfort audios, and I'm not saying it. Should I say? I'm not going to say it for now. Maybe later. But I was looking for like some comfort audios, and Pillow Talk audio just popped up, and yeah, that's how I found about it. Pillow Talk audio sounded exactly like what I wanted to do and what I wanted to like listen to while sleeping. And yeah, that's my. And yeah, as I said, everyone here is just so beautiful. I think this is, as I said, Pillow Talk audio is like much small. I think I talked about this like last time, but I didn't confirm it, so I'll do it now. I'll look up the various like subreddits. So I'll compare Pillow Talk audio with Gone Wild audio. So Pillow Talk audio has 155k. 155k. Okay. Now GWA. I guess I need to search Gone Wild audio. So Gone Wild itself has 4.8 million, and Gone Wild audio has 1.5 million. So we are like a tenth of, actually exactly a tenth of Gone Wild audio. As I said before, I personally love smaller subreddits much more than, I'll talk about the other subreddits. I think I've talked about them like briefly in passing before, but I will talk about some of the other subreddits. Mom for a Minute is one. So there is a 400k members, so it's actually larger than Pillow Talk audio, which I did not expect. And there is Audio Candy, which I haven't uploaded yet, but I might at some point, which is even smaller. It's just 20k. Then there is one of my friends uploaded it. Not friends, I guess, just one of the people I follow, Sazi. Yeah. Then there is my subreddit, which is 2 people. I'm not even sure who the second. I guess this. I guess I have a vague idea of like who the second person is. No pressure to follow it, by the way. Like again, the subreddit that I have. I want to say this, by the way. No pressure to watch any of my stuff or anything. If you do, I always appreciate it. But I kind of want this to be an archive, like both my YouTube and my what do you call it, subreddit. I want these to be like archives where people can come and like see my older stuff. So no pressure to like visit them or anything. Feel free to like do whatever you want. Also, if I didn't make it clear, I am an LGBTQ ally. Ally is like who supports them, right? Yeah. I just said this because I noticed like I have a rainbow colored heart in my, what do you call it? profile. What else? Totally Not Robots. This is one I love a lot, which is 400 members. 400k members. Okay. But yeah, so I will continue with. I think there are only a few left. Yeah, there's like two left. So one is you might hear someone coughing in the background. Wait. Okay, it's low enough that I think it won't be audible. Okay, hopefully. So we'll talk about Lamar, who made the Wi-Fi related thing. Then there's the ENIAC Programmers, ENIAC. In 1946, 6 women worked together to build the first ever completely electronic programmable computer. What? Wait, I know this. ENIAC. I've read about ENIAC. This is one of like my computer books, like an old computer book, which had like a hello world program in it. It's super old. ENIAC programs. I had no idea. What? Okay. I am genuinely interested in this. I mean, in the other ones as well, but like this one especially interested. Okay, I'll read this whole section. 1 second. Okay, so the ENIAC, I'm going to call it ENIAC from now on. ENIAC Programmers. In 1946, 6 women worked together to build the first ever completely electronic programmable computer. Kathleen and Antonelli, Jean Bartik, Frances Betty Holberton, Marilyn Melzer, Francis Spence, and Ruth Teitelbaum, I'm hoping I pronounced these correctly, were tasked, and probably didn't, were tasked with programming the ENIAC, Electronic Integrator and Computer, for the US Army by the University of Pennsylvania's Moore School of Electrical Engineering. The computer would be used in the ongoing World War II to work out artillery trajectories. However, the project was top secret and the identities of the women who had programmed the computer were not revealed. The 6 female programmers continued to be uncredited for their work until the 1980s, when Harvard student Kathy Kleiman stumbled upon a photo of the woman with the computer in question while researching on a thesis on early programmers and software developers. That's so cool. That sounds like this sounds like this could be a movie. Is there a movie about this? Wait, I need to look this up. I hope there is, because this is a movie I would watch. Because like imagine like the climax of the movie, like someone stumbles upon this. Okay. Clement inquired about the image but was told that the women were models who were only in the photo in order to make it more appealing. That's okay. Delving further, she discovered that the woman had. Oh, is this also a woman? Wait, I didn't even realize. Yeah, Kathy Kleiman. So she's also a woman. That's interesting. Is this a women's college? Delving further, she discovered that the women had long gone uncredited for their work, despite continuing to contribute. Sorry, I'm just all over the place. Despite continuing to contribute to the ENIAC after the war and launched the ENIAC Programmers Project to tell their story. They are credited with pioneering programming and also with helping to make programming itself easier for future generations. That's so cool. I'll also look who the Greta Samuel is the author for this one. It looks like. Wait, is it? No. The photo is by Greta Samuel. The article is by Freya Godfrey. I feel like I've heard her name before, or maybe just the surname. So this is the last one. Marion Mahoney Griffin, architect. Only the second woman to graduate. Oh, only the second woman from graduate. Okay. Only the second woman to graduate from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. Marion Mahoney Griffin became the first licensed female architect in Illinois. Imagine being someone who has never heard the word Illinois and trying to pronounce that while reading this. That's why I say like I have a mix of like American accent, because sometimes I will have, so whatever word I heard first in a movie or something, I just pick that up and I use that. So if I've heard like a word from you, for example, I'll just use that accent or that like particular way of saying it. But yeah. Okay, so what was I saying? Yeah, she was the first employee to be hired by soon-to-be famous American architect Frank Lloyd Wright, and worked closely with him for 15 years, helping to develop the American Prairie School of Architectural Style. She was particularly talented at architectural drawings, and the watercolor delineators that she created became a well-known symbol of Frank Lloyd Wright's work. Mahoney went on to marry architect Walter Burley Griffin, and the pair collaborated on numerous projects, including a design for Australia's new capital, Canberra. Um, so it's thought that the Mahoney's stunning watercolors won them the competition to take on the commission, but the design has often been solely attributed to her husband. Her wide-reaching influence is now celebrated through the Australian Institute of Architects Marion Mahoney Griffin Prize, which is awarded exclusively to female architects. It's so happy. These things make me happy so much, you have no idea. Okay, so now we'll move on to okay, so I think I've talked about so many things. It's fine to take a break. So how long is this? This is 56 minutes, so almost an hour. So I'll just push this to 1 hour, and I will talk about. I'll search and see. I didn't search this before, but I'll search and see women game developers. So the thing is that game developers in general are not really like name focused. There's this fantastic video by People Make Games, which talks about manipulation and mistreatment of employees by superstar game designers. I personally hate the culture of this. I mean, I shouldn't say personally. I think objectively, everyone should hate this. So there they talk about like a couple of like game developers who are supposedly like very famous, but I have never heard of any of them. I have heard about like few, and none of them have been women. Especially because I come from video game development, right? Where even less people in general, but also women have been involved, and when they have been, they don't really get credited. So there's so many games that you would have played who don't have like a proper game designer or creative director. Especially as games get bigger and bigger, the names get muddier and muddier. So you would know a game more by the studio rather than or the publisher, rather than the names of the people who worked on them. I'll name a few, but none of them are women. So there's John Carmack and John Romero, who worked on the original Doom. There is Hideo Kojima, who still works on various games. The guy who worked on Watch Dogs Legions and Far Cry 2, I remember Jason from Donkey talking about Video Game Donkey talking about it a little bit. The guys behind Last of Us and God of War, like both of them, I think are different people, and one is like Drakeman, I think that I don't remember. So they are like also like notable game developers, but again these are like people who are more about like, because the Naughty Dog and like people who work on like Sony and stuff, they are more like movie directors. They are not. I wouldn't call them game directors, because so they're attributed as creative directors, I think, because their game design isn't how do I put this nicely, isn't let's say their main focus. Their main focus is more like telling a story. So let's see. I'm just trying to look into this. Also a thing that sometimes this happens very, I think any any incentive to, one second, any investments, oh sorry, any attempts at increasing like gender diversity can be very overshadowed and very. Also, there's one more very fantastic video by 3 Clicks Phillips on women in CS:GO. It's talking about like the problems that women face in CS:GO, both on a esports level and on a casual level. Problems being like discrimination, harassment, and whatnot. But yeah, okay. I was saying that any attempts at like trying to oh any attempt at trying to like increase gender diversity in video games can go like misdirected, because ultimately it's about them doing something good, right? And sometimes it can be, I don't know, there's so many things that can go wrong with it, especially when people who organize this don't understand feminism or game development both at their heart. Okay, 10 women in game development you should know. So I'll just read about them a little bit. I won't be reading about them too much, but just like, so Amy Hennig, director and scriptwriter, Uncharted, Jack and Dexter, Legacy of Kain. Again, these are the people I'm not as much enthusiastic about, because I want to see games that I like. So Jack and Dexter is, I suppose, worthy. So Amy Hennig is one. Megan Fox. Wait, what? Am I crazy or? Oh, wait 1 second. So this is American actress Megan Fox, but this is not her, right? Founder of Glass Bottom Games. I'll read this one. Skateboard, Spartan Fist, Hot Tin Roof, The Cat That Wore a Fedora. Having taught herself how to code at the age of 11, Megan Fox, bracket no, not that one, embodies the ingenuity of indie games industry. Even the name of her studio, Glass Bottom Games, a reference to an issue many women in game development are all too familiar with. Wait, what is the is this talking about? Wait, what is glass bottom? Glass bottom meaning? Metal tankards often come with glass bottom. Glass bottom. I'm just trying to figure out what glass bottom means. Glass bottom games, a reference to an issue many women in game development are all too familiar with. I'm just so glass bottom. Let me studios name meaning. I would love to know what this means. The Glass Bottom Studios. So first of all, Glass Bottom Studios, it looks like it's also like a music thing. I'm not sure. Glass Bottom Games. I'll search. Wait. Glass Bottom Games. Glass Bottom Games make absurdly. So this is the about us. Glass Bottom Games make absurdly memorable games about animals doing people things. You'll wander around on foggy nights, making friends with detective cats and meet tiny burps trying their best to skateboard. It was founded in 2011 by Megan Fox as a moonlighting thing alongside working for NetDevil, Lego Universe, etc. But then the studio closed and it became a full-time gig in 2012. Ever since, we have just kind of been working on, games. Check the other pages. I don't want to write all the histories again. It's been a ride, let's put it that way. But the important thing is, A, we're still here. Megan Fox founded the studio, so well, yeah, it's been here from the beginning. She's been here from the beginning. Nathan Madsen has composed our music since 2013 or so, and was a friend of Megan's from back in the NetDevil days. Megan's partner joined as a tech artist in 2021 or so. Beyond that, we work with different folks for each project. Glass Bottom Games. I'm still trying to figure out. Wait, let me search. Ask ChatGPT. This is what ChatGPT so far has been good with. By the way, if you have any idea about what a glass bottom could mean, I obviously know about the glass ceiling. Wait, glass? It is a glass ceiling? Glass bottom meaning question mark. Wait, can you recommend places to visit in Barcelona if I am interested in architectural photography? But I never asked this. What? Is this a random thing or something? Okay, whatever. Glass bottom meaning in a relation to gender. Term glass bottom doesn't have any widely recognized or established meaning in relation to gender or gender studies in the same way terms like glass ceiling do. Glass ceiling is a well-known metaphor for the invisible barriers that prevent it could be a creative context. Maybe it's like a wordplay on like glass ceiling. Okay. Anyways, if you're looking for games filled with cute critters and fascinating stories, give Hot Tin Roof, the cat that wore a fedora, Escaped Bird, or Spartan Fist a chance. I wanna see what critters mean. I've heard this word before, but I wanna see what it actually means. It's a comedy. I can't find the word itself. Okay, I'll just search a word critter. There's this define thing, so I'll just use that once. A living creature and animal. Okay. Lena Rain, developer and composer, known for Celeste. Okay, that's a good one. Chicory, a colorful tale. Sackboy, a big adventure. ESC. Let's see what's ESC. Okay, ESC seems like a interesting game. Very psychedelic visuals, interactive visual novel. It's interactive novel. It's right, but yeah. Lena Rain. Okay. Kim Swift, designer for Portal. Oh, Portal. Oh my god. Okay. Left 4 Dead and Half-Life 2. How have I not heard of her? Okay, that's surprising. Interesting. Okay. So, featured in Fortune magazine's 30 under 30 list of the most influential figures in the video game industry. Portal and Left 4 Dead, they are big names. Okay. Ayami Kojima, artist and character designer for Castlevania series Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Corey New, programmer for Quake 2, okay, Borderlands and Halo 4. These are pretty big names in terms of games. Alison James, developer for Pong Quest, Maddening Euphoria and Maddening Overlord. I'm noticing when I'm talking, there's like this weird clicking noise that's happening in my like head, which is weird. I don't know why. Sometimes it gets picked up in the mic as well, I think. I'm not sure if that is the same thing or something else. It's like a small clicking. Okay. Keely Santiago, designer and producer for Flow, Flower and Journey. So these are games by that game company. So these are pretty big games as well. Nana Moon, developer and designer. Keylocker, turn-based cyberpunk action. Virgo vs Zodiac. Interesting. Jade Raymond, programmer for Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs and Far Cry 4. So that's a pretty big, those are like AAA games, all of them. But there's more. The number of women in game development shaping the future of industry is increasing every year. I need to figure out what this clicking is because it's like happening inside my head, like somewhere behind my nose. It's almost like I have no idea. Okay, whatever. And the thing is written by Kinga Kwapiz. That's such a funny name. But yeah. Okay, so this was interesting. I will do my own research on game developers, women game developers at some point. Maybe I'll do it on audio, who knows. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. Hope you had fun. If you are a woman, again, late but happy International Women's Day. I should have done this before on 8th, but honestly, I wasn't feeling I didn't remember actually, and I wasn't feeling it at all. If you, by the way, I want to say, if you forget my, not mine, but like forget anyone's birthday, I first of all want to say I totally get it. I don't use like calendars or anything to remember birthdays. Like not digital calendars at least. I might use physical calendar. I just don't have one. But I don't use digital calendars to remember birthdays. I try to remember them with only my memory, because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like using calendars makes it like a little bit less like genuine, especially if it like only like reminds me in the morning, like, oh, today's a birthday, oh, I need to buy some gift, so I just try to like keep myself like very informed on like when the birthday is of any friend I like a lot. If you don't wish me on my birthday, I wouldn't mind at all. I actually don't celebrate my birthday, as I've said this before. I think I don't celebrate my birthday at least often, if not at all. It's nothing to do. It's just my birthdays have not been the best, mostly. So I 1 second. I'm trying to find someone's birthday. I remember it. I'm just trying to like confirm it. 1 second. My phone is lagging. Found no. Okay, wait. Because my phone is lagging, like I'm pressing buttons here and there, and it's like messing everything up. By the way, no shame or anything to you if you use digital calendars or anything. It's just I don't like using them, and because of that I sometimes forget birthdays. But okay, where is this? 1 second. I am here only. Where is it? I'm not able to find it. Wait. I know this is... I guess I should be doing this later. But 1 second. I know I can find this. Just a second. Yes, found it. Okay. I did search for the correct like month or whatever, but I don't know, it just didn't show up. But anyways, yeah, so hope you're doing well. Hope everything is fine. And yeah, take care. I will be back soon. I will upload this audio right now. So unlike like my older audios, which like there's one more audio that I haven't edited or anything. It's just sitting there. I need to get that out at some point, sometime later maybe. But yeah, hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing good. I just woke up like 1 hour ago, like 1 hour, no, maybe like 30 minutes before I started recording this audio. Not 30 minutes, maybe 1 hour before I started recording this audio. So I was a bit like sleepy. Now I'm awake. But yeah, hope you're doing good, and see you later. Bye bye.